just mixing up a neutral here. I'm mixing up a triad. So when I do this, I keep mixing. Goes to pink, then it goes to blue, then it goes to yellow. So I end up with a nice big puddle at the bottom of my mixing tray. All right, so I have my neutral ready. I'm going to save the sky for last. I'm going to put down a very dilute tone over this. I don't want it to be quite so stark white. I'm going to make it a little yellower and make sure it's very dilute. And I'm just going to splash this around. I'm going to use a oval brush. I'm going right over the water. Now I'm going up into this tree. This is just an initial way to break the ice here. Mess up my paper a little so I don't get real persnickety about it. But I'm going to mix the green. I'm going to start with a mix of the cad yellow and cobalt. Switch to one of my bigger synthetics. This is mostly blue. And I want to bring some of that dark over here. See, this is still wet, so I'm getting a nice little bleed over here. And I think it should be pinker. Ooh, look at that. So I wanted that tree trunk to blend with the leaf that I'm doing. So these colors blend together. I'm even going to go into my ultramarine here and make it nice and dark here. And I want to get that nice arch. Maybe I'll mix it with that green. So I'm pressing down and then dragging the brush out. In fact, I might do it this way and then bring out some of the spiky bits of the leaf. In the background, I see one that's really light struck, and I'm just going to come around like this and hit this leaf while it's still wet to pick up some of that leaf color. Now back to my dark color. I don't want it to necessarily be green. More important that it's dark. It's really a silhouette. Now, where's my board? I'm going to be working at an angle here. I'm going to have a little hookers handy. Use that as a base green to mix with these other colors. All right, so now I'm going to put in some more palm trees and use my triad. And I might, instead of cobalt, I might use ultramarine here just to deepen the color. So this skinny palm tree is a little farther away. So I probably won't darken this anymore, even though it's in silhouette. So I came all the way down with just what I had on my brush. There's another one back here. Maybe I'll make this one even lighter. And that's coming right down here into some foliage. So now I'm going to go back into this green mix, and maybe I'll tone it down with a little of the alizarin just to make it more of a neutral. I'm going to put that at the base of these trees. I'm going to pick out the lightest green. So this is going to be a little of the hookers with this cad yellow that I have here. It's going to be pretty bright, but I'm going to be going over a lot of it. And I'm going to put it down nice and fluid because I'm going to want to drop some colors in because I see some pinks here and reds. So I'll be doing negative painting over this. So while this is wet, I'm going to dip into this alizarin and mix it with that yellowish green. Just drop it in. And then I see another one up here that's more maroony, so I'll put a little ultramarine in there. So I'm putting it in while this is wet, but it's dry over here. So I can go like this. And I'll just leave that. And I'm just going to put just a few darks in here. It's still wet. And do a little negative painting. And I'm going to tone this down. Too much contrast right there. And the same thing over here. All right, so now I'm going to do this tree. So I'm squinting at it, and it has these big shadows crossing. So now this mix is ultramarine, alizarin, and a bit of the yellow in here just to neutralize it a bit. This is the shadow cast on the tree from another tree. And now and then this is the out of light side of the tree. Just going to make some concentric lines. Now these are frowny lines, not smiley lines. And I'm bringing the wet brush into the trunk that I've already done because that's going to add texture. So here's more shadow. So this is wet on dry, so I can get some hard edges here in these shadows. And then with my handy wet brush, I can soften because some of these shadows kind of fade out. And now I'm also seeing some vertical texture lines. So I'm using just my brush that has water on it to create that texture. And then here it kind of gets lost in the vegetation. So I'm actually going to bring some of this color into the vegetation. Doing a little negative painting on the foliage down at the base. So here I'm going to go with this green that I've got here, my chartreuse color of the cad yellow and the hookers. And I'm going to splash that around. And then I can always go darker where I need to. So this will make everything much more active. So I want to get that exuberant quality of the palm, that fountain quality. This is a neutral. Now I'm putting the trunks in while these greens are wet. So this is a real kind of a jungle of leaves, so I don't want to be too careful. This is all negative painting. And I think I'll dull this down with a little pink. So now it's like a gray. Just going to do a little spatter here just because I'm getting too fussy. That felt good. That's a stress reliever. So I'm getting a variety of greens here just by using what's in my palette. Now, just using the side of the brush to get a leaf shape. All right, I should try some of these shadows. When you do the shadows, you want to make sure you mix up enough so you don't have to remix all of a sudden. Just going to dump out my colors, mostly the blues, the pinks, and the yellows. I'll leave the hookers up there. So I'm going to add more ultramarine and some more alizarin. It's kind of nice. It's kind of purpley. I will make this more dilute back here. All right, so I'm not drawing this. I'm just winging it here. So I'm going to bring this color right up, excuse me, onto the trees. So one way to do this is to look at the white shapes and think about those. And the shadow shapes back here, you want to keep them nice and horizontal. The shadows where they connect, it's all the same value and hue. So you want to work fast so one flows into the other so it doesn't dry too quickly. So oh, look at that big blob. Okay, not a problem. Now I could have made this darker, but it is what it is. And actually, I'm just going to put a little more ultramarine in here just because I'm getting to the foreground where the shadows would be darker. So I'm working really fast, so these crisscross lines will blend into each other and it won't be a case of overlap. They'll just fuse into one shape. Now I'm going into the soil here. Now I'm going to mix a little pink and some of this murky yellow for a soil color here. And then I'll go into this green. See, I'm not even rinsing my brush. And I'm touching the soil color so it all blends together, bringing these leaf shapes up. I'm mixing the hookers and the alizarin for a deep dark green.
Are you doing a sky?
Oh, yes, I'm going to do a sky. I could do a sky right now, since you asked. So I'm going to make a puddle of cobalt blue. I haven't put the water in yet, but I'll do the sky first. I'm going to be doing smaller area. This is going to be the biggest area. I'm not going to worry about the cloud that you see in the picture. I'm just going to do blue, and I'm going to bring it down and have white, billowy cloud at the horizon. Get a lot mixed up here so I don't run out. I'm working on a slant. I'm going to work wet on dry. And what I'm going to try to capture is the contour of the palm leaves. And then I'll have an extra brush that's just wet for softening. And I'm leaving a rim of light around the leaves. And I can even create leaf shape that isn't really there yet. Just slurp up the extra so we don't get blooms. Now here, these are in silhouette. So here I might just go over those because they aren't quite so bright, but I am going to leave a rim of light. So this is supposed to make it look even sunnier. Okay, so far so good. I'm going to work my way across. Okay, so here I didn't delineate much. So this is a good place to create the leaf shape. Okay, I'm getting close to this big area. Okay, I have a lot on my brush now. So it's really important to work fast. And this is where I'm going to introduce the damp brush. Okay, so now I'm going to take my wet brush, and I'm just going to bring some of this down here and over here. Oh, mistake. Bring this down and then introduce the damp brush to soften it. All right. Now I'm going to put the C in, and that is a little darker. I'm going to put a little ultramarine in there. So the C, and I can use this to do a little negative painting on the foliage. This is only slightly tedious. I'm actually enjoying this. So these are little peekaboo holes where you can see the water through the vegetation. Just kind of making this up. All right, and here's around this man. He's got dark pants on, so I'm going to go right over his trunks. All right. Whew.